The day of the monthly options expiry, so we'll need the help of our technical experts to wade us through the volatility. We have CA Rudramurthy as well as Naresh Mirani joining us to do just that. Okay, so a bit of a favor towards the long side. Do you concur with the view, CA Rudramurthy, or would you believe that perhaps it's still wait and watch, the time correction is not over, so not a sharp bounce back in April?
See, for me, I feel April month, even if you get any bounce back, that will be sold into. We have to understand levels very clearly on Nifty futures. Nifty futures is in this band of 16,800 on the downside, and on the upside 17,350 is now the crucial resistance. But if you watch very closely last 3 days, Nifty futures is trading in a tight band, which is 16,900 on the downside and 17,120 on the upside. So this smaller range which is there, once we give up, then yes, 16,800, and finally if you break 16,800, there is a free fall. So even if you get a bounce, because we are highly oversold at current level, this bounce can go to levels closer to 17,120, 17,230, but I don't see it crossing 17,350. So any bounce will again be sold into is what I see. If this down move has to end, you have to close decisively above 17,350. Also look at Bank Nifty future. Last 3 days, Bank Nifty is just in a tight range of 500 points. If you look at Bank Nifty future, downside is 39,350, the range for last 3 days, and on the upside it is 39,850. So this narrowing of range tells to me that once you get a breakout out of this range, the move will be very sharp and swift. But I feel the move can come most likely more on the downside. Even by chance you get a short covering, or even because we are highly oversold, you get any bounce, that will also be sold into. So I am not bullish. Let us wait for 17,350 to cross to say that this sell on rise market is over.
Okay, so continue liking the large banks at this point of time. Rudramurthy, what about you? Stock specific recommendations?
Yeah, I'm picking both sell call. One is Jubilant Food. Look at this stock and chart pattern for last 6 months. From levels closer to 650, there is a one-way fall. And even in a good market, this stock goes down. So these are weaker counters which you can sell and available in futures for you to go short on. Multiple resistances are clearly visible at the range of 450, 460 zone. So any bounce from current level closer to that 450 zone, I'll be taking short position. Look at initial targets of 421. Once it breaks this zone of 415, 420, further slide can be seen on the downside. So a clear positional sell on rise and a positional short call on Jubilant Food. Next one is RBL Bank. Again, in banks, if you see, even last time when I was in your show, I said short banks like Bandhan Bank, RBL Bank, these are all weaker ones. See what happened to yesterday Bandhan Bank, and I won't be surprised if we see very soon even RBL following Bandhan Bank. RBL Bank for me is again a sell on every rise. Look at initial targets of 125 and eventually even 110 and even 2-digit to come on RBL Bank. I'll keep a stop loss of 142 and sell RBL Bank on every rise.
The cycle is not that favorable. That is something which is worth reconsidering. Rudramurthy, what's your view on Vedanta?
Nikunj, when I see the charts of Vedanta, definitely from levels of 300, 310, there has been clear selling. And even if you just get any bounce on this stock, which can take to levels closer to, let us say, 285, again, those zones have multiple resistance. So I am not in a camp to buy Vedanta. Rather, I will sell on any bounce to levels closer to 285. Last support for this stock is at around 255. If it breaks 255, steeper fall can be seen on Vedanta. So I want to sell on rise. Levels closer to 285 will be a good level to short Vedanta, or you short from current level and on rise to 285 sell further and look at targets initially at 255, below that free fall.
Rudramurthy, what about the entire infrastructure sector? Because just towards the end of the year, we usually see a momentum, and next year is, of course, the election year. So do you think for the next couple of months, it's a good bet to be in some of these infra names?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, if someone wants to take stocks for their investment portfolio and you want to pick some of these stocks, yes, it can be good. But however, all the moves which are coming for short term are getting fizzled out. For example, let us say I look at stock like GMR Infra. From that strong base of around 37, made a move towards 42, 43, had fundamental news of further additional stake from QIP, all that, and again from that resistance of 43 back to those levels of 37. Unless you have a longer time frame and you want to buy stocks for investment, you have that 3 to 5 year kind of a view, yes, then you might pick stocks from infra. Even IRB infra, if I see the same story there. So if you have that longer time frame, go on. For shorter term trading or for momentum buying, I will still avoid infra.
Okay, so what about you, Rudramurthy? What are your top mid-cap bets this morning?
Yeah, see, if you look at mid-cap index, either you look at mid-cap Nifty 150 or even Nifty mid-cap small-cap 400, most crucial supports are broken. For me, it's a matter of time. Index will also turn down. Might be we are waiting for April expiry. But if you want to pick some good stocks, yes, one such stock is CSB Bank. So for me, CSB Bank has made this strong support area at around 220 zone, and from those areas multiple times it has bounced with support from volume. So for me, CSB Bank is a buy. So I want to buy this stock for an initial target of 280 rupees. Eventually even 350 can come. Have a stop loss of 230 for this long call.
The very longer term charts of dollar index, it's below that 100 mark. That is where the bull market starts in a big way for the emerging markets. We saw it break after that rally in March 20. It started breaking below 100. That was the 2020 period. Same in 2017. Same in 2003. Today we are at 102, 103. So overall, what we are seeing is the setup is ready in terms of things to get better for India once this normalizes. So if you look at the overall market, say the Nifty small cap 100, the index is back to the place where it was in 2018 as well as in 2021 March. So 2 years of zero return, 5 years of hardly any returns. So the breadth has become very interesting, wherein whenever we see a 5-year return becoming zero on the Nifty small cap 100, it's generally a good time to create an investment portfolio. Same happened in 2020, the 5-year return almost became zero. Same happened in 2013. So overall, the point is we'll keep seeing this volatility and lack of belief. And if we look at the small cap index, 8,700 today, 8,000 on the day of a Russia-Ukraine crisis. So a 5-7% from here is what is scaring everyone. But the fact is what happens over the next 12 to 18 months. Last 18 to 24 months have been washed out. But over the next 12, 18, 24 months, there could be a lot of money be made in small caps.
Wanted to highlight what's happening with the pre-open rate. It's a bit more sluggish than what at least SGX Nifty was suggesting. So it looks like we are going to start below the 17,000 mark. Let's pull up a couple of counters. South Indian Bank, wherein the CEO Murali Ramakrishnan has asked the board not to be reappointed, is seeing a downtick of 12% at least in the pre-open. We'll see how it really opens. And let's pull up a Quest Corp as well, wherein there was a reverse book building which was going to happen. The price that they were looking at buying was 12 to 15% higher. And look at the uptick on that one, 9.25% higher, coming in for Quest Corp as well. In terms of the other big movers, Hindustan Zinc is also showing a downtick of around 9%. So that's the other counter that you need to watch out for. And of course, Vedanta too, on account of the dividend news, will be important. Let's take the index calls as well and see what our technical experts are charting out for the day. It's a hold call coming in from Naresh as well as Kush, whereas Rudramurthy believes sell on rise is the best strategy. So a consensus hold as far as Nifty is concerned. I'm guessing it's going to be similar on Nifty Bank. Yes, it's a hold from Naresh as well as Kush, while Rudramurthy is suggesting a sell on every rise, even for Bank Nifty.
IndusInd Bank has shown some traction. This is one of those stocks which in a sense has been on the receiving end of the market fury. IndusInd Bank, even RBL, mid-tier banks which were supposed to be the go-to stocks in December, January, all of them have come crumbling down. Now let's look at UCO Bank. I'm going to say I told you so. Yes, that's the one where we said at 35 rupees that you cannot be buying into UCO Bank simply because they did not have CASA. The volumes for UCO Bank at the peak was much more than the free float the stock had. It's a stock where the NIMs are not the best, but book value actually had become almost 2.5 times. So UCO Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, the smaller PSU banks have lost 30 to 40% from the recent high. Naresh, what is the future for a UCO Bank or a Bank of Maharashtra? All the small, PSU banking space.
I think we saw that say unusual move happen in December in a lot of these names, wherein you have to understand that it is not a sector, the small cap PSU banking, where the float is pretty low. And now we would expect them to be sideways to down for a long period of time. So, for example, a Union Bank of India went from 40s to almost 1995, and now we are at 60s. I would expect it to stay at 55 to 70 for a long period of time. So, expectation is all these small cap PSU banks, which are really large market caps, they're not small. The rally which happened was a one-off, and now we go into a sideways period. Not the place to be buying into. If one wants to look at the whole PSU bank, the top three still look the most interesting ones. Avoid the whole small cap PSU banking space.
CA Rudramurthy, PSU banks, the smaller ones, game over or there is still some life left?
Nikunj, why do you have to buy these smaller ones when we have, let us say, an SBI or even a Bank of Baroda? And I too agree with Nuresh. What has happened is, yes, in the month of December, we got that swift move. Whether you take UCO Bank, you take Union Bank, they all made that swift move, and again they're back to those levels. And I don't want to buy any of these banks. So if you want to buy a PSU bank, stick to State Bank of India, number one. Number two, it should be Canara Bank. And lastly, I will say Bank of Baroda. Or if you want to go for private bank, look at HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. Beyond this, I don't want to pick any other PSU small bank, nor even from private bank. I want to pick up anything like Bandhan Bank, RBL Bank. All these are stocks which are good to short. But if you have to pick from private bank, I will still recommend either an ICICI or an HDFC Bank.